For Simon Pegg, every mission. Impossible film has come with a secondary, often more grueling task, actually making the movie. Every mission impossible. I've done has had a parallel mission running alongside it, making mission impossible, he says. Back in 2005, Pegg stepped onto the Paramount lot to shoot a modest role in Mission Impossible. Third, he was cast as Benji Dunn, a tech expert for the Impossible Missions Force, IMF, thanks to J.J. Abrams and Tom Cruise being fans of Shaun of the Dead, 2004. At the time, he thought it was a one-off Hollywood adventure. "I figured that was it," Pegg tells The Hollywood Reporter, reflecting on that early experience. "I went home thinking I'd return to British comedies." But that changed when Abrams emailed him a year later with an idea. What if Benji became a field agent? I replied, I would feel good, and that was the start of it. Now, nearly 20 years later, Pegg is gearing up for the release of his sixth Mission film, Mission Impossible. The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. The sequel follows directly after 2023's Dead Reckoning, with the IMF racing to stop a rogue AI, known as the Entity, from plunging the world into nuclear catastrophe. The journey hasn't been without loss. One of the film's major emotional absences is Rebecca Ferguson's Ilsa Faust, a beloved character who was killed off in Dead Reckoning. Pegg, who formed a close bond with Ferguson on set, felt her absence deeply. Rebecca was my buddy. We leaned on each other during the craziest moments. She's an extraordinary actor, and her presence was missed, he says. But COVID brought us closer as a cast. We were in a tight bubble during filming, which helped forge new bonds with castmates like Haley Atwell, Palm Clementieff, Esai Morales, and others. Despite the title, The Final Reckoning might not be the definitive end, though Cruise recently hinted otherwise, telling THR, "It's not called final for nothing." Pegg admits it feels like a conclusion, particularly with how McQuarrie ties the story back to earlier films and explores the origins of the Entity. This film wraps everything up beautifully. For me, it does feel like an ending, Pegg says. MECQ went back to the beginning, found threads, and brought them full circle. Working on the Mission franchise has always meant tackling huge obstacles. From Tom Cruise's infamous ankle injury during Fallout to the COVID shutdowns that interrupted Dead Reckoning, Pegg says the challenges are just part of the DNA of these productions. We shut down in February 2020 and didn't restart until November in Norway. There were intense protocols, but we adapted, he recalls. Every mission starts out feeling impossible, yet we always find a way. It becomes its own adventure. Compared to Dead Reckoning, Pegg found the shoot for The Final Reckoning more relaxed, largely because filming was no longer constrained by pandemic protocols. This one was actually the most enjoyable for me. It felt like a proper shoot again, he says. Even with all the chaos, like an unexpected polar bear encounter in the Arctic, he wasn't fazed. That just felt like another day on a mission set. One of Benji's signature lines in The Final Reckoning, "We'll figure it out," is also something of a mantra behind the scenes. Pegg explains that while the films may seem spontaneous, they're built around story arcs and character development, even if many elements evolve during production. MCQ writes on the fly, yes, but he always knows the destination, Pegg explains. He's brilliant under pressure. And Tom always says, pressure is a privilege. Every crisis is an opportunity. That mindset really defines this franchise. Looking back, Pegg never imagined he'd spend 2 decades as Benji. What started as a bit part has grown into a defining role and a remarkable journey. I never expected any of this, he says. I just kept saying yes, and now, here we are, 6 films later, with stories, friendships, and memories I never saw coming,